Welcome to Panels and Borders. I'm Dominic, and I'm here with
Marie.
And so we recently watched A Beautiful Boy with Timothée Chalamet in it. So this is the second Timothée Chalamet movie I watched. I wasn't going to watch any until I saw Dune. I wanted Dune to be the first movie I seen him in, but I ended up watching The King. And so I got curious about his other movies, and so I decided to give this one a watch. It was on Amazon Prime, so we watched it together. So we're just wanted to make a video discussing the movie a little bit. So what did you think of the movie? I'll let you go first.
I thought it was a really interesting movie. It was very intense in some moments, but at the same time, it was really hard to sympathize with the main character, which I guess is kind of the point. You know, he's an addict, he's going through all these things, but there are times you just wanted to reach through the screen and smack him.
Yeah.
And you felt so bad for his family, which again is the point of the movie.
Yeah, that's the point of the movie.
So overall, I think it was a very good movie, but it was like intense in certain moments.
Yeah, you almost had to watch something happy after as a palate cleanser after watching this movie.
Yeah, it was super depressing, and I think we were watching it like late at night, so I think we had to watch something after to be like, okay, let's find something lighter and go to sleep.
Yeah. The only thing about the movie though is it kind of had a weird timeline to it. It kind of jumped around.
Yeah, that was very confusing.
Yeah, it made it kind of hard to keep track of what was going on. It kind of got better as you went, but it was kind of did a little bit of jumping around from the present to the past and to the future again. So that was made a little bit confusing at the beginning. But now as for the guy that plays the father, I think his name is Steve Carell.
Yeah, he was in The Office.
Yes, this is the first I think serious movie I've ever seen him in.
Yeah, I don't think I've only ever seen him in comedy things. So.
Yeah, me too. I've only ever seen him in comedies, but I thought he did a pretty good job as the dad.
He did, and you felt for him and his wife. Who I can't remember the actress's name, but I feel like I've seen her in things. I just don't know her name.
Yeah.
You really felt for them because you could tell they wanted so badly to help him. They wanted so badly to try to save him in that sense.
Yeah.
So you really hurt for them in some parts.
And now the one thing about the movie didn't really go into detail was actually how he got into the drug scene in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really know what put him down that path.
Yeah, exactly. What it was that pushed him into that path, you don't really know. And he got into some pretty hard stuff. Now, one thing about the movie they didn't really do in this movie that I've seen them do in other movies with deal with people who do a lot of drugs, they didn't do any kind of makeup to really make him look like crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially where he was doing the meth and all that, usually.
He just looked pale and stuff.
Yeah.
Skinny the whole time, just
pale
himself.
And skinny, yeah. Just himself, yeah. So this is the first movie you ever seen Timothée Chalamet in?
Yes.
What do you think of him?
I thought he was okay.
Yeah.
I don't have any complaints.
Yeah, so I thought his acting was pretty solid in this.
Yeah, I think he did a very good job of acting.
Yeah.
Acting like that person, and there were times you could have believed that he really was on drugs. You know, he did a really good job in that respect. So.
Yeah, he did. That was quite a bit different from the role he played in The King, so it kind of shows he's got some range and stuff. So that's pretty good. Obviously the reason I'm doing this video is because Dune is coming out in December. Obviously, you know firsthand because I never stopped talking about it.
Not ever, no.
And so this is kind of if you haven't been, you don't know anything about Timothée Chalamet, and I think this is probably a good movie to start with.
Yeah.
This or The King, and this is actually one of the movies. It was this one and another one, Call Me by Your Name, that really got him out into the spotlight, and has kind of got his name out there, and actually got his, made him become a rising star.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, in Hollywood. It was this one and another one. Now the other thing in the movie, it kind of had this. So there's going to be spoilers in this video. So the one thing about the movie is there seemed to be a lot of tension between Steve Carell, Nick. Well, the character's name was Nick Sheff, and his father was David Sheff. So the character David Sheff, dad, there was a lot of tension between him and his ex-wife. You never really got
and you don't really dive into what it is.
Yeah, what is exactly why they split up, why they have this strained relationship.
Yes, you can almost feel the hatred almost or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if hatred is the right word, but it's really intense.
Yeah, a lot of that.
And in the part where she kind of steps in, it's interesting to me. The part that I found really interesting was he gives his dad like such a hard time.
Yeah.
His dad and his stepmom, they put him through all these rehabs, all this stuff. And it seems like not even a quarter of that is what his mom went through.
No.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't go steal from his mom. He doesn't go... And again, but they don't dive... You don't really see him interact with his mother either.
Yeah, you don't really see him
She just kind of shows up at one point, but she's never with him like the dad and the stepmom are. So I don't know if she's just the reason that he doesn't give her as hard of a time is because she's not physically there with him.
It's actually quite a ways into the movie before you actually see the mom.
Yeah, but you just hear the dad yelling at her on the phone one in the beginning, and then you don't really know she exists much. You're just like, okay, whatever. And then it seems like the focus is just that main family, like his dad, the stepmom, and is it one or two kids?
I think there's 2 kids.
So the mom just sort of appears.
Yeah. And
then it doesn't seem like she has that much of a hard time, or does it almost like it doesn't bother her as much? Is the kind of the vibe I got. Like, it was weird because like you can see the dad with him at one point, like he's laying right near the end, laying on the hotel floor, and the dad's just trying to keep him alive and just trying to take care of him, and then the mom just sort of steps in and pays for it, but you don't really see her go through that same
you don't
struggle.
Same struggle, yeah. But the stepmom was there all the way and really put up with a lot of crap, which I think a lot of people in that situation probably throw their hands up. Hey, I had enough of your kid, I'm out of here. Yeah. But she stuck in there pretty
she held in, and she just tried everything she could to help him, even when he broke into the house, and then she like chased them down the road or whatever. You could see that wasn't so much anger like as it was sadness, and some like desperation. She was just so like, again, not angry but hurt by what he did.
Now I've got some experience. I've had friends that have gotten into drugs, so I have some firsthand experience. But it really does like alter the person's personality, and you can see that in the movie, like in the flashbacks before he's addicted, into after he's addicted. Like all he cares about is the next fix, or next or whatever. Nothing else. So
matters.
he doesn't care about who he hurts or he screws over. Like when he broke into his dad's house to steal money. He didn't care about anything.
Didn't even faze him at all.
He just wanted to get to whatever the next fix was. And, I have friends like that, or at least one friend in particular. I had like that, got into a lot of drugs. All the types of drugs they did, I don't know, but I know it did, like they weren't the same. And it's almost like it altered not only their personality, but their memories, how they remembered the past.
Yeah, well, and even in the movie, remember, they had the neurologist kind of scanning Nick's brain, and they kept saying like, oh, this part is damaged and it's over, it's like gone. He might regain some of it back, but he's basically, I don't remember what part of the brain it was, but he'd somehow like damaged that part of his brain with the meth. And so like that was kind of an interesting insight that they kind of said like, when people use meth, I don't know how it is for other drugs, but I'm just using meth because that's what they were talking about. How it kind of like damages the brain, and it can be permanent.
And the other thing too is the low success rate they had for getting people off of meth.
I didn't know it was that low.
It was pretty
whether
low.
Those stats are true or not. It seemed really interesting. I was like, really? Because I've never personally had to deal with anyone with that type of drug, or anything like that. So it was a really interesting movie, and really like tugged at you, but at the same time you wanted to reach through the screen and just smack him. Because even the times when he was kind of sober and doing well, he was still quite arrogant. Like to me, I got a bit of an arrogance off of him a few times, even when he was sober, and you're just like, you're the worst.
But that's how it is though when you got to deal with people who have addictions. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating, because you're just at their wits' end, like, because you can't reason with them. They're not on the same level of logic. They don't have that. The logic is just gone almost, or something. So it's but it was a pretty sad movie though.
And it didn't have any like, I mean, yes, things were better at the end, but it didn't have any woohoo moments, or like, there was just some real intense sadness. So when I kind of think that's really an interesting move on the director's part, because a lot of movies now, the big thing is, oh, you have to end on a happy note. And he did sort of. He was back in rehab and like starting to like get better, because he had that serious OD, but like he didn't, you know what I mean? Like he didn't make it over the top like magic, like poof.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of in movies that deal with drugs, they always make it like magically like poof, it's all better. Like this one, they're showing like it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Because of whatever, I can't remember what he shot in his arm at the end. Like I don't know if he like, that was one thing I kind of wondered in the end.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly
was it
sure.
Intentional? Was it? It seemed intentional to me because he like was writing and then he seemed all sad.
Yeah.
And then he did what he did. So I wondered, like, is it intentional or is he just so messed up that he thinks he needs that much of whatever that was? Because it didn't look like anything we'd seen in the movie at that point. I don't think.
No, I don't think so. No.
It looked weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, so the director, he could have, a lot of them, they'll go, oh, look, magic, happy. Everybody's a big, happy family. But this one, he kind of showed, like, look, this takes time. You know, a little more realistic on that front.
Yeah.
Because families don't heal overnight. People don't heal overnight. So I actually kind of applaud that direction that they chose.
Yeah. And the other thing that's interesting is how, like, at the point where his dad got so tired, like, he just had to, like, they told him, you just have to step back. You can't help him anymore. So they just completely cut him off.
Yeah.
Which is really hard to do. Like, a lot of families end up just keep on enabling.
Yeah.
And it's hard to just let that person, because what if something happens, right?
Then you'd always feel guilty.
Yeah, you'd always feel guilty.
That was interesting, and I like kind of like that it showed the families going through those support meetings too. Like it showed, because in a weird way, it's like if you're watching that, you have a family member going through those things, you can look up, oh, is this really a thing? And it is. I think it's called Al-Anon or something, and I know that it's an actual thing for people with family members in those situations. Yeah. So like, you know, maybe someone watching that may be like, oh, is that a real thing? Let's look it up. Or you know what I mean? So it was a very like raw movie in my opinion. Like I don't know if, again, I'm not sure if I'm using the right word, but like it felt very raw, very intense.
Yeah. And it really paints a good picture of like what happens to families, like how they're affected, how so much strain was put on this guy's marriage for so many years. Like his whole life was his son, trying to get his son off drugs. It became like basically his whole life.
Like consumed in it.
Yeah, to the point where, and that would be hard to be in a relationship with someone like that.
Yeah, because you can't help them and you can't help the kid.
Yeah, so like their whole life is focusing on their kid and trying to get their kid out of that lifestyle and stuff like that. Yeah. So that would be really difficult to have to deal with.
Now, is there anything like you would kind of critique about the movie?
The only thing maybe is just how the timeline of it, how it kind of jumped around. It's a bit confusing until you figure it out, like what they're doing with the movie. But that would probably be the only thing. Yeah. As far as like drug movies go, like one of my like favorite Michael Keaton movies is Clean and Sober, and that is him about alcohol, drug addiction, similar to this movie. But that one has like it kind of has a sad ending, but it's still at the same time he comes out clean right at the end of it. But I probably still like Clean and Sober more than this, but this is pretty good, you know, as far as these types of movies go. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch a ton of these types of movies. Yeah. I have a really hard time sometimes with really heavy, dark kind of movies. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I might think, oh, that looks really good, but then I know if I watch it, I'm just gonna walk away kind of feeling depressed. You know? Yeah, and what makes this more like that is because this is based on true story. Yeah, exactly. And like I liked the little update thing at the end. It said this, like he'd been clean for how many years was it? Yeah. I can't remember. Was it 8? It was quite a few, 8 years. Something like that. Like it was something like you were like, oh, good for him. He actually did get his act together. He got himself back together. So like. Yeah, it was really interesting movie. And personally, like, I agree with you on the timeline. The other thing I didn't like is there wasn't enough with the mom. You know, like the just mom was kind of like in and out. Like I was like, I don't get you. Yeah, you didn't really get the mom. What you kind of got the sense that, I don't know, she wasn't having to deal with this like the dad. No. It's almost like she was in another state. I kind of got the impression the son lived full time. He had full time custody of his son. Yeah, and I would like to. They can't show everything, and I realize that, but I would have liked a little more background there to understand. Yeah, exactly what the relationship was. And like she seemed very detached. Yeah, she was very detached from the situation. Not just like in the way of her not dealing with him all the time, but she wasn't like the dad. You could hear like panic in his voice, like help. What do I do? Somebody help. Yeah. And she was just like, well, you know. I mean, she wasn't literally like that, but you know what I mean? She was a lot more nonchalant, a lot more, detached, I guess. Yeah. So for me, I would like a little more
personally a little more information, like why? What's up with that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me that felt like a little, I wanted more in that part of the story.
Yeah.
And as you said before, like we don't find out why did this kid go from this happy-go-lucky kind of writer, like a little bit of an emo teenager, you know, like, but how did he go from like your average kind of emo teenager to like full-on meth head?
Yeah.
Maybe like,
I don't know. I kind of got, maybe it's just from going out and partying.
Yeah.
I've had. I'll go back to the example of my friend. Like he just started off. It started off with him just going out and drinking with his buddies, and then started off with pot. Where some people will stop at that, right?
Yeah. Most people can just stop there. When
they go out and party, they'll drink, they'll smoke pot. And then that's as far as it'll go, but some people always want to take it a step further, and he's one of those people always want to take it just a step further.
Yeah.
So it just escalated from there over the years, you know, pot and cocaine and then whatever else he was doing, and to the point now where basically really messed his life up. Like, so I don't know what he's doing. I haven't talked to him for a long time, but
yeah.
Last time I did, you can tell he was really messed up because I got one of those drunken midnight phone calls, you know, at the Blue, and when you can tell the person's messed up. That was probably about 10 years ago. But so maybe there was no actual.
Yeah, maybe there was no like trigger event,
it's just
so
like,
to speak. It just happened gradually and got out of control.
Right, yeah.
Well, and that reminds me, as you say that, he does mention like, oh, it was just a little bit of this. It was just for fun. It's like his rationale to his dad was never about. It was never about, oh, I need to numb. I need to do this. He's like, I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
You know, whereas the dad was like, we're talking meth here. Like,
yeah.
You know, like.
Which is like a really bad one.
Yeah, like that's not a little fun party drug.
No.
You know, it's not like just smoking a joint once in a while. And
yeah.
Like some people do. They do that no problem.
Yeah.
You know, meth isn't one of those no problem drugs.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, overall though, I did like the movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie, yeah. I liked it too. But yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Very.
So yeah, you're going to want to watch something light maybe after.
Definitely, or definitely like don't go to bed right away.
yeah.
You definitely need something like, or if you're gonna go to sleep, like watch something short and light and happy.
Yeah. Yeah, something to kind of like, like as I said, like a palate cleanser, because this is pretty heavy. Yeah. So the other thing, so it's gonna be interesting to see him from this movie, and then when Dune comes out in 2020. See how now you know a little bit about Dune because you've been helping me with some of the videos, and so you watched the original one with me and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
So how do you think he's gonna translate into that?
I think acting wise, good, but physicality wise, I don't know. I just can't. The other guy, I remember, I only saw it once, but I just remember he wasn't big or anything.
Yeah.
But he had a bit more of like a presence in the end when he needed to. You know, when they were like doing the sandworm thing. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
But I can see you trying to laugh at me. But you know what I mean? Like you could kind of believe he could command it. Now maybe if I had seen different movies with him, I'd have a better idea of it.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to picture that. Now again, I don't know the route they're going to go with this other movie. I only have that old one as a reference, and I've only seen it once. So I mean, I don't know. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. Like I think he has the acting chops, as they say.
Yeah, he definitely has the acting chops.
But it's just he looks so weak and sickly.
Well, now this is a drug movie we watched.
Well, but I've seen pictures of him, and he always looks that way.
So it might be different.
Maybe the pictures I've seen were when he was doing this, but I've seen a few pictures, and he always looks very pale and kind of gaunt. So I don't know. So it's hard for me to picture, like, if it was me and you put that kid in the desert, he's gonna die. He doesn't seem strong enough.
Now, the way he looks is kind of more accurate to the way he's described in the book.
Okay.
Because in the book, in the chapter, first chapter, they mention how he's so small for his age.
Okay. See, and maybe I'm remembering the other guy a little differently, and I remember he wasn't a big guy then.
No, he's not a big guy.
But he does
still
look bigger than
yeah.
Timothy. How do you say that?
Timothée Chalamet.
Chalamet. Thank you. Sorry. So yeah, it's hard. Maybe he's gonna look totally different in this movie. Maybe they'll. I don't know, or maybe like you said, that's how he's described in the book. So
yeah, it's more.
I'm not as familiar with the book as you are, obviously.
Mhm.
So I'm just kind of going off as more of an outside perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do think he'll do a good job from just that movie. Just
Mhm.
by seeing his acting, I do think he'll do a good job. It's just hard to picture him leading. I don't know. Again, I'm not really sure how to describe it. It's just maybe if I saw a different movie with him in it.
But now actors we don't know, actors can get bulked up pretty quick.
That's true. I mean, there's many actors out there that are, what's the word? When they like change their appearance
Mhm.
quite a bit. What's that called?
Because you gotta remember, it's like Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted to Speed.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Right?
or
They're only a few years apart.
Nightcrawler, I think it was, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, where he got lost all the weight.
Yeah.
And he
So
looked
I mean,
totally different.
it could be that he made himself look like maybe lost a little more weight
Mhm.
or something for this movie to make himself look a little more drug addict.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, but just the pictures I've seen of him, he does seem still quite like a smaller framed guy.
Yeah,
Tall,
he does
but
look
smaller
he's
framed.
tall, small framed. Yeah.
But so yeah, it's just a little harder for me to see. But again, I'm not as familiar with the material of the books.
Mhm.
It's just kind of when I picture someone in my head.
Yeah.
For those kind of roles, for someone that's going to be leading people.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. So I guess we'll wrap it up there. So that's everything I got to say in this video, and I'll see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.